All right, we're back in this full brakes again on this 2015 Ford Expedition. I think I've made 2 or 3 videos, maybe only published 1 or 2 of them, I don't know, about working on this stupid thing. But we're back at it, and she chewed the hell out of the rotor again. This will be I think the 3rd time that I've done an in-depth repair. The first time I changed the rotor and the pads. Within a few thousand miles, I did it again. So I changed the rotor, the pads, and the caliper. And now I'm after this stupid rubber brake hose. Now I don't know if that's the problem, but it's always been this right-hand side every single time. And every time that I've redone it, I've rebuilt the left-hand side as well, and it always stays fine. So if you guys are familiar, I don't know if I put a video up about this or not, but I've had to do this on my F-150. It was a 99. Had to do it on my 99 F-350. This rubber brake hose can swell internally. And I don't know if that's the problem, but it's been the problem before on my older trucks. Now we're talking 2015, you know, 16 years newer, you think they'd have it figured out. But I can't, you know, aside from this, it's going to be something up inside the, you know, the actual, you know, brake piston system, whatever, to where for some reason I'm getting unbalanced flow. I just can't rationalize any other reason why it continues to chew up the right-hand side despite all the repairs, not the left-hand side, not the rear brake. So this rubber hose is the only variable that I haven't corrected yet, and today we're going to. Now, of course, being in 2015, it's currently late 2017. Ford hasn't actually released these parts to the aftermarket yet, I guess because, I don't know, I guess because they don't imagine they'd fail that quickly. So I had to go to the dealer to get that part. O'Reilly's didn't have it. O'Reilly's would have had to special order it from the dealer. So I had to go straight to the dealer, probably paid a little extra for it, but they're 30 bucks a piece, so it wasn't horrible. What's worse is having to get back in here again and again and again and again and use the best quality pads, you know, good quality rotors, and it just keeps failing. So we're gonna try to fix it again, and we'll just see what we get into. All right, I got it all tore apart, and yes, I know, I didn't show you guys, but it's real easy. 2 bolts that hold the caliper in the bracket, then you pull the caliper off. 2 bolts that hold the bracket to the hub here, pull the bracket off. And then you can see I've already got obviously the caliper out. The hose connects to the hard line up there, and it's got the flexible rubber hose down through here. There's a bracket here, and there's a bracket here. You have to loosen this. That's for your ABS, I believe. You have to loosen that from the brackets just so it doesn't get pulled off too, because it doesn't need to come off. And then you pull the whole mess out. So here's our rotor, nicely chewed all to hell. And here's our brake pads. Inner pad was fine, damn near brand new. Outer pad, totally trashed. And here's our old hose. Looks good, right? Looks like nothing's wrong with it. And again, I don't know if that's the problem, but it has been before, so hopefully it is. If you learn nothing else from this video, maybe you learn that if you have an undiagnosed problem on your brakes, and I promise you, with my old 99 truck, I went to the shop and they were like, sorry man, don't know. Not a Ford shop, but tire and lube sort of shop, and they're like, yeah, don't know. And they were just clueless. So thanks to some forums back then, I figured it out. Anyway, I got my new hose just put on here, just hand tightened. I've got to get a clamp and try to break these caliper pistons loose because they get pressed out and they get stuck out. They stay out. That's why it ends up wearing down so fast and grinding. So I've just got to get them popped loose. They've just been out for so long that they're kind of seized out. They're not really seized or broken, but you just have to get a little clamp on there and push them back in. Get it broke loose, and then I'll get it all put back together. Okay, this may be a humbling moment for me, but I now have to admit fault. Okay, buddy. Okay. Did you find the car's heartbeat?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then it's fixed, I guess. So when I made my last video, I actually had 2 people comment, and let's see, it's B Kennedy 8 and Richard, I don't know, Nicolik, something like that. Both commented in the interest of the bunny ear shapes on the pads. So they're talking about these right here. If you look at the pad, these little humps, okay? And they told me on their comments, well, you screwed up because you put the bunny ear pads both on the same side. And the other guy commented and said, well, the bunny ears need to go on the inside of the caliper. When I saw their comments, I was like, okay, cool, whatever. I never went back and looked at it. Well, it just so happens I am guilty. And maybe they spotted that in the video, or maybe they just thought that's what I was doing. I don't remember. But sure enough, here's the old pads off the right-hand side. Both have the bunny ear shapes. And I think it was B. Kennedy said, okay, if they're both bunny ear shape on one side, you're buying it from the get-go. Why, I don't know. That I don't understand. I would have never even thought of that. Of course, there's no directions in your brake pads that say that, which is no big deal. Anyway, maybe it's not the hose. The interesting thing, though, is that if I have both the bunny ears on this side, that means I have both the non-bunny ears on the other side. And the other side is acting fine, I guess. I haven't torn it apart yet, but it's not what's grinding and growling. Maybe it's not grabbing at all, and so that's why it acts brand new. That I don't know, but you would think if one side's messed up, the other side would be messed up as well if something's installed improperly. But anyway, thanks to those guys. You know, super huge thanks for pointing that out. I'll install it per their recommendations. You know, I don't know what's right or wrong, but I trust that they know. I mean, having two comments from two random people both saying the same thing tells me, you know, hopefully that's what's correct. So I will install it to the tune of what they're saying. And actually, what's funny was I went to put the new pads on, and I noticed that I'd forgot their comment. When I went to put my new pads on, I noticed I had one shape like, you know, one bunny ear, one not. And when I saw that, I thought, wait a minute, I remember a guy saying something about bunny ears. So I actually went back and looked at my video, and you know, hey, that's the whole point of these YouTube videos, is hopefully to share knowledge. And you know, in this case, if these guys are right, they're going to save me a whole lot of headache and hassle. So as it stands, I'm going to put the bunny ear, you know, 1 in 1, which is kind of weird, but whatever. And I believe it was Richard said the bunny ears go on the inside of the caliper. So I'm going to look real close at the caliper and see if there's a way that they fit properly like that. Because what was weird was when, you know, to put them on incorrectly, I didn't have any problems putting them on. It's not like it bound up or, you know, wouldn't fit right. I didn't have to fight with anything. So it's weird to think that it has that big of an impact. But like I said, I'm going to put them on now per their recommendations. And hopefully I never have to do this bullshit again. I did put the new hose back on anyway. What's it going to hurt? So there you can see, I mentioned before, here's the top bracket and the bottom bracket. So you pull this bolt out, and I loosen that bolt, but actually loosen your hard line here first and then take that, because that way it holds that bracket. So loosen your hard line and then take that bolt out. The whole thing comes out. Real easy swap. So may have been an unfortunate expense of money. Now the interesting thing would be, of course I wouldn't know if I had to go way back to the first time I worked on the brakes on this vehicle. You know, why did I ever have the first failure? That was at like 30,000 miles that I had the first failure before I ever touched it. It was a brand new vehicle. Well, 5,000 miles, but new from the dealer. So I don't know why it failed back then, but it did. If anybody's concerned about the rusty looking calipers, it's not as bad as you think. I actually just had them turned yesterday. They just sat outside overnight, and so just the humidity got this little bit of rust on them. But just as quick as those rotors turn, they'll be just fine. Or as quick as they, you know, the pads, the brakes intersect the first time, it'll strip them clean and make them nice and shiny. So again, thank you guys for the comments about the bunny ears. I'll get them slapped on there properly per the recommendations, and hopefully we'll be done with this forever, and then I'll get it all whipped back together.